So good evening, everyone. Based on the samples collected, we have analyzed all of the selected samples or evidence, and these are our findings. So the first key evidence was the glass containing a straw-colored liquid found near Mrs. Barbary. So why did we test this? Since the victim showed signs of poisoning and there was a glass with an unfinished drink nearby, so it was crucial to analyze its contents. So this sample was performed using ICP-MS, which is inductively coupled plasma mass spectrometry, to detect heavy metals like thallium, and also HPLC, which is the high performance liquid chromatography, to screen for any organic toxins, and also fingerprints analysis to identify who handled the glass. So the findings are ICP-MS confirmed 0.5 ppb of thallium, which is considered detected as low concentration, but still considered toxic. However, might not be the primary cause. And the HPLC, no organic toxins were detected via HPLC or GLC, confirming that the drink was wine without additional chemical adulteration. And also the fingerprint analysis identified Mrs. Barbary's fingerprints, proving that she had handled and likely consumed the poison liquid. And the next sample, the second crucial piece of evidence was the partially full bottle of Chateau de la Graville 1919 wine, which was suspected as the cause of the poison drink. And why did we test this? Since the contaminated liquid in the glass originated from this bottle, so we needed to confirm whether the bottle itself was tampered with. So this sample also were tested using the ICP-MS to measure its heavy metal content, and also HPLC or GLC to check for other chemical toxin, and also fingerprint analysis to determine who handled the bottle. So the findings are we detected 0.6 ppb per billion of thallium using ICP-MS, which is also detected as low concentration. And HPLC or GLC found that no other toxic substances, ruling out additional poisons. So, and last but not least, as the fingerprint analysis identified also Mrs. Maria Fabry, so as well as those of unknown male, raising suspicions of possible external tampering. And next one. And the next sample is carbon monoxide and white crystalline powder analysis. So for the carbon monoxide detector, which is falls under category B3, we test this as poisoning symptom can sometimes result from carbon monoxide exposure. So we needed to rule out accidental CO poisoning, and we found out that the detector showed normal level of CO, eliminating this as a cause of death. And last but not least is the suspicious crystalline powder under category B4. We further analyzed the sample using FTIR and also NMR to determine the molecular structure. And the powder is confirmed as non-toxic and also unrelated to the poisoning. And also the ICP-MS tested confirmed that the powder does not contain any toxic levels of heavy metal, and ruling out this as a source of poisoning. Next, I will pass to Aziza for the next sample.
Okay, for the evidence number B5 is an empty medicine bottle. After we go through the fingerprint, this print is matched with Mrs. Barbary and also Miss Brigade Barbary. So both of them we confirm that both of them handle the bottle. However, this doesn't indicate when or why they are touching because it's a common household item. Next, we do the FTIR analysis from the residue from the medicine bottle. So the spectrum show this is consistent with the acetaminophen, which is we call as a paracetamol. So this residue contain the acetaminophen, which is the active ingredient in the cocodamol. So we can conclude that the bottles contain the cocodamol is present doesn't directly suggest anything unusual or harmful in the normal dosage. So then we proceed for NMR to confirm the structure, and from NMR we the residue is not a pure substance but a mixture. It is expected in a medication formulation. So this suggests that the presence of inactive ingredient alongside the active pharmaceutical ingredient. So this support of the presence of cocodamol. So we can confirm this start in the medicine bottle. And also we do the ICP-MS to analysis any heavy metal or trace element. So there is no significant toxic element were found that would indicate the deliberate poisoning. So next we go to the basic evidence. It's a cordless telephone. The fingerprint is matched with Mrs. Barbary, and also nobody fluid or skin sample were detected, and there is negative to luminal test, so we can ruling out the presence of blood. Then from the telephone record from BT record, there is a multiple call were made over the past few days. So a list of call placed on February 8, 9, and 10 was compiled, including the time and duration. So we can conclude that there is a call to grandparent. It is expected because as we know, the brigade was staying with them a night before the incident. And for Beauport Angling Association, is a potentially relevant to Martin Barbary alibi of going fishing. For Collier Water Company, is possible relevant if there is a water contamination is suspected. However, for Mrs. Pettifer, the connection is unknown, and maybe we need a further investigation about she. And Mr. Simon Shaw, this her ex-husband is a potential significant due to the history of abuse. The content and contact of this call need to be maybe the for further investigation. Next, okay. Next is scraping of dark red stain from the kitchen sink. So when we do the FTIR analysis, it indicate the is a pigment type. So we can conclude it is a paint but not blood. It's suggests it's likely from a recent paint job. So, but we do the luminal test to reconfirm our finding. So the result is come out negative. So we is confirmed that the substance is not blood, and there is no DNA found when you analyze using the DNA profiling. So the next is drug cabinet to check either is there any illegal drug inside the cabinet. But we found that coprosimol, this is prescription to Mr. Barbary, suggests that he might have been experienced for pain of inflammation. for the medicine Valium and Cipramil is prescribed for Mrs. Beverly. It suggests she might have been experiencing anxiety or any depression. The next medicine is penicillin. It's a type of antibiotic. It's prescribed for B. Beverly, indicate for a bacterial infection. And there is a Panadol. But it is a common pain reliever and fever reducer. So from this content of drug cabinet, there is no control or any illegal substance were found, meaning the cabinet content do not indicate illicit drug use. Okay, that's from me.
Okay, hi everyone. We meet again in this second meeting. So I hope everyone is still okay and still fine. Regarding this case, now I hope every one of you already received the copy of postmortem report and also toxicology. But today I'm just going to go through and share the key findings of the postmortem and toxicology report. Okay, so the first one, let's go to the overview of this case. So our subject, Mr. Sumaya Babri, was found that on February 10, 2009. So the circumstances were a bit suspicious, and the victim was found dead at around 5 p.m. by the police agent. The body was found. Next slide, please. Okay, so early observation. So we found out that the body have kind of a severe wound on the right rear skull, as illustrated on the picture here. And then this early conclusion can be made that the death was unlikely to be natural. Okay, but then we can confirm this by our toxicology report. Okay, next. Right. Okay, so the postmortem, based on the postmortem, we find no sign of struggle or assault because the body have no sign of bruises or any other wounds like cuts or anything. And then based on our X-ray, X-ray shows multiple heel fractures. Maybe this is because of previous marriage problem. And other than that, the head wound can be okay. It wasn't the cause of death, but there's one thing that is important to notice is that the hair on the body is easily detached from the scalp. This is might be a sign of poisoning. Also, the internal organ also shows sign of poisoning, and the time of death can be concluded to be around 3 because there's no liver mortis observed on the body. Only some minor rigor mortis, only evident on the neck and jaw of the body. And also, there were no trace of insects or maggots. So, meaning that the body was kind of fresh. But at the time we received the body temperature was around 33 degrees Celsius, which is still warm. So, but then on the report, there were the gas heater is still open during the finding of the body. So the probable time of death should be before 3 p.m. Okay, next. Okay, so we go to toxicology analysis. From the postmortem results, it can be concluded that the head wound wasn't the cause of death. So we go through the toxicology analysis. So we have a few samples that we can analyze, which are the blood sample, hair sample, urine, kidney, liver, and also the stomach content. So all these samples were analyzed using numbers of methods, which are GCFID, ICP-OES, SEM-XRF, graphite furnace, IAS, and also HPLC-MS. Next, okay. So the key finding is that after all of these samples being analyzed, we found out almost all parts of the body have trace of heavy metals. And surprisingly, the thallium was one of the elements that is significantly high in all of the samples, including the blood sample, hair samples, urine, kidney, liver, and even the stomach content. I would like to point out the uh, hair sample. On the hair sample, the concentration or the amount of thallium was significantly high and also can be found up until 4 cm of the root, suggesting that this thallium, that this body has been exposed to thallium for more than a month. Okay, and then there were also thallium in the urines and kidney, and also in the stomach content. So um, based on the stomach content, we found out from HPLC-MS, we can see that uh, the last meal was chicken chesu, and also there are evidence of alcohol consumed. Surprisingly, even in the stomach content, we can find thallium around 82 ppb, which is can be suggesting that thallium was ingested within 12 hours of the death. So probably come from food. Okay. Next is the final cause of death. So other than the elemental analysis, HPLC analysis also been done in some of the sample, but HPLC analysis showed that there were no inorganic. There were no organic poisoning, but there were only thallium based on elemental analysis. So thallium exposure may come through the wine bottle and also the alcohol consumption, since it's considerably high alcohol content in blood sample of Mrs. Badri. This condition is worsened. She might be alcoholic, and if thallium were from the wine bottles, this condition would worsen the symptom. I think that would be all from toxicology report and postmortem for me.